Alright, and we are now live, running the TGV as you can see. Anyway, I haven't done a live stream in a few days, hope everyone's doing well. Looks like we've already got Ottawa Model Railfan and Phoenix Smith. Welcome to the stream. Tyler, hello. Let's get it all set up here. Alright. Now we'll see. Anyway, if anybody wants me to run anything in particular, just put a request down in the chat. I'll try to run it. Black Panther Decala. So I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that last part right, but welcome. The Convoy, hello. ATDCC Coalboy, hello. Trains and Model Train Productions, SP Productions, Aiden S. Illinois Central Productions, Sarnum. Yeah, of course. Rapido's brand new LRC cars, which were mislabeled. I didn't get what everybody was talking about in the previous stream, and then later that night I was on Instagram, and I think it was Go Via or Go Home's Instagram had something about that. Jeremy Games 47YT, welcome. New York Rail Fanning, yes, welcome. Fishing with Ryan, hello. Art Woomy, SMG, yes, I'm still around. Gone for 2 days. Crazy. Railfan Kingston, hello. Model Trainman Gaming 2006, General Fishy 09. Oh boy, that's not good. Preston, hello. Can you run a Rio Grande? I'll see what I can do there. I might be able to. Run an unrealistic consist of your choosing. Well, I mean, I guess you could argue this is already kind of unrealistic since we're operating, a foreign train in what would be North America. But yeah, we can put something kind of unusual on. I don't know what that would be, but I like the request. Jordan Railfanner, Tommy's Trains, Rail Rider Railfan, Big Boy. Okay, there's one. And the VF40 with the Via cars. I can't remember if I found the Via cars last time or not, because they had kind of disappeared. I don't know. Ford Crown Vic, Quentin Miller, Michael G, Dylan Hack, Barth, I hope I'm pronouncing that part right. Fanano Blues Hockey 107. Hello, biggest fan here. Thanks, I appreciate that. Good Scarnum evening. Thanks for telling me how to ballast track. I'm happy that video was helpful. It was sort of a random one, but I have received a fair amount of comments about that one. Anyway, we had a request to run something sort of unusual, so I guess we'll go ahead with that. I don't really know what the best option would be, but I don't know. Maybe we could run like here. Let's find an unusual engine. I'm sure I've got one. Ottawa, how are you doing, Harrison Scarnum? I'm doing well. How are you? I think these engines are all fairly usual. You need something up a level, something just a little bit. I mean, we could put the Canadiana on. I mean, that's pretty far from a realistic consist. You know what? I think if we're talking about realism, this thing's so shiny, frankly, I think that's a good start. And we'll put a freight train behind it with the go-cars. All right, Nick, you got it. That's it. Just your average doughboy. Welcome, big boy, big boy. We could run the big boy with the go-cars. That would be cool. Yeah. Yeah, we'll put this with the big boy. You know what? This is going to be a horrible combination, but we're going to do it anyway. So we're going to get the TGV off the main line, and then, yeah, we'll get that all sorted out. It's going to be an interesting train. I think everyone's going to like it. So we'll move that all over and go get the go-cars. Chassis system. I don't know if I can take that request at the moment, because we're about to assemble possibly the most unusual train ever created on this entire channel. It's going to be something. Please run the Blue Goose. Yeah, might take a while. I don't know if I want to run the Blue Goose. It's sounding worse every time. I think that weird metal joint I put in there is about to go pop. I don't think it's going to be around much longer. Hey, SMT, iOS 14 releases tomorrow. Are you excited? I don't know. I mean, if there's something really good about it, I guess, but frankly, I could kind of care less. I find with every update, they make the operating system worse, so yeah, I don't know. back in like 2010, all of Apple's software was so user-friendly, you know, you really didn't have to be a genius to use it. Now it's like, I don't know, the other day I figured out there was something wrong with my ringer, and it was because of the volume. Rockers are adjusting the ringer volume, like just really weird stuff. Oh, these couplers are the bane of my existence. I'm getting rid of this one, and we'll just run it as is. Apple sucks. I have an iPhone. I hate it. I don't dislike Apple. In fact, I'm doing the stream right now on a 11 Pro. But the thing is that yeah, I just don't find they've really. They're kind of trying to reinvent the wheel. It's like they have something that works, and then it's like, well, that's not very exciting. We're gonna need to add something new. But they end up making it worse, I find, most of the time in the process of that. So, yeah. So here's the big boy. These should couple up okay together. I'm not really sure where the kind of crazy-looking Santa Fe locomotive is going to go, but yeah, I don't know where we could fit it in. We might just have to run it without it. Just because I think the Blue Goose is, or not the Blue Goose, sorry, the Super Chief has got a horn hook coupler on it. All right then. Maybe it's not the coupler on that car. Maybe it's the one on this one. Why isn't that locking in? Yeah, I think the spring is gone out on this one. There's a solution for this, though. Sometimes you can get it to lock if you just... How did it decouple that? Okay, there's some weird stuff going on with this. Maybe my track's uneven, who knows? I just find it weird because it does look like it's... Yeah, I don't know. Okay, you know what? Let's run it while we got it. Containerman68, welcome. How are you doing this evening? Yeah, there we go. So, of course. I'm going to try this one more time. If it doesn't work out, we're running something else. Okay. So here's the unrealistic train of everybody's choosing going around the layout. I wasn't able to get the Super Chief on with it. But anyway, there it is. It's kind of working. I bet it's going to disconnect. Yeah, wow, look at that. Timing is key in comedy, I think. Still working. Ryan Fry, how are you? I'm well, how are you? See, I would run it with this, although I don't think it's even powerful enough to pull those Go coaches. I think we're going to have to pick something else. A cursed mess. Yeah, that's one way to describe it. I don't know. Oh. This is what I want for it. Oh, yeah. Although the BNSF engine would also look pretty good hauling something like that. I don't know. This probably won't fail, so I think I'm going to preference this one. Use the Canadian film stick. I don't know if the Canadian film stick would be helpful in this particular circumstance. Yeah, Centennial didn't derail. Look at that. Okay, so we're just going to go pick up those cars, and then, yeah. Can we see your locomotives that need work? This whole pile right here, all of those have one thing or another wrong with them. Some of them run, they just need a little bit of maintenance. Others are, like, completely busted for one reason or another. Who knows? I wonder if this will work. There's something off with the coupler height, I think, on the Go cars, because both the Centennial and the Big Boy, the couplers on both of those engines are higher than they are on the Go cars. Do you have any GP units? You mean like a GP40? If you're talking about those, I've got a fair amount of them. Okay, we're gonna take care of that in a second. Yeah, we got that variety right there. Yeah, goodness, I've not been having a lot of luck with the locomotives tonight. Look, the switch isn't even aligned, and it somehow managed to run itself right off the rails. Okay, we're gonna have a go with the BNSF engine, but if that doesn't work out, I think we're gonna have to pick something else, because these go-cars are quite complicated. I think we'll swap them out for something better. But in any case, we'll just grab this engine right here. Nice Kato engine, it should work. If you could have one locomotive, what would you have? Trying to think. I feel like there's an engine that I do want right now, but I can't think of what it is. The big boy was one I wanted for a long time, but one ended up arriving in the mail, so that didn't really matter. And before that, it was a model of the Wakefield train, but I ended up buying that too. So those are the engines that I really wanted. I guess the Polar Express set, that might be a fun one to own. I don't know. We'll see if I have the funds, I might end up buying one of those headed towards Christmas. I feel like it'd be fun. You know what'd be crazy is if I could also recreate the scene from, you know, the scene where it's on the ice there? And I feel like if I hooked up some sort of a battery system, I could make that work, and we could have a great video. 1225 or 4014? I think I'm gonna have to go with... Oh, that's so tough. I think I'm gonna have to go with 1225. I mean, that's the Polar Express right there. That's a famous train, you know. I mean, I know 4014 is way more important, but personally, just for me, I think it would have to be 1225. The North Pole Express, not the Polar Express. Well, if you buy Bachmann's set, yeah, it is the case. Okay, we're gonna move those go-cars off the main line because they're kind of causing problems. Can you run Chuff Chuff? Yeah, sure, why not? Not with the go-cars though, because they're being a bit temperamental. What's the Discord? I couldn't give you a link to it, but there are a lot of people who are pretty much executives of the Discord server in here, so I'm sure one of them would be very happy to give you a link. I guess this is the first time I will comment on SMT Mainline. Well, welcome, Erich Fonseca? I'm terrible with names, I'm sorry. But anyway, welcome. Where do you get most of your locomotives? There isn't really one particular spot. I sort of just pick them up from all sorts of various places. The majority of them probably come from train shops, like just regular hobby stores. And then the internet and train shows are probably 50-50, although you can get a lot more volume at a train show for a lot less money. Going to a train show instead of, you know, buying them online, so... Get an SP cab forward. That'd be a cool engine to have. Can you triple head the VF40s? Yeah, we can do that, sure. I did say I was going to run the 210-2, so I'll run that first, but I'll at least get the VA units out so I don't forget. They might already be at the table, so... Anyway, we'll get the 210-2 on, we'll run it, and then I already see 2 of the VA units. If I find the Telus one, we'll be in business. Oh, sorry, guys. Phone slipped right out of my hands. Oh, there's a message I was about to read, now I've lost it. Darn. Can we get a rip in the chat for the big boy? The big boy's fine, it's working. It's just those go-cars that were giving it trouble. On a coal train. Okay, I'm behind. Okay, here's the comment from Sierra de Hobo. I have one request. Could you run the Penn Central switcher? That's all. Hope you have a great night. Well, that seems like a pretty simple request. The Penn Central switcher. I think that must be that kind of unusual engine that I received in the mail recently. And, yeah, I don't see any reason why we can't run that one. Sure. In fact, I'll run that one just before the VIA units, just because it's such a simple one. Do not buy the Polar Express locomotive. The coaches are great, but the engine you should not buy. Get a Bachmann Père Marquette. I don't know if I'd want to buy a Bachmann Père Marquette. Maybe I should just stay away from it. They're expensive. They're not giving those engines away. But I don't know. All of my Bachmann steam engines have had questionable history, and you'd argue a lot of it's my fault, but at the same time, my Mahano engines have been run by me, the same owner, for even longer, and they're all still running. So it kind of begs the question whether it's my ownership that's the problem, or they're just not built that well and can't take as much. 844, number 2, 8444, because the GP38 has now since been renumbered 844. Because the GP38 got sold. What would you say is the strangest locomotive you've seen? In person, I was out at Expo Rail in Montreal, and they had it was a European steam engine of some kind. I can't remember what kind of railroad it looked on. Anyway, it was an older steam engine. It was really bizarre. It was beautiful, but really, really strange engine. I have a photo of it somewhere. Run the diesel daylight set. Might take me a while to get around for that one. Yeah. Let's do this. Hey SMT, one of my favorite YouTubers. I'd like to send you something in the mail. I left a comment in a recent video. It'd be nice if you check it out if you have the time. Thanks. Oh, well, I appreciate that. Anyway, for the person who wanted the Penn Central unit, there we go. Oh, Nathan Delay, welcome. Harrison, this is more of a guess. I wonder if Bachmann makes decent quality, but I think they might break on purpose so you buy another one from them. That's my opinion. Well, I mean, that I wouldn't consider that decent quality in my book if you're making planned obsolescence. That's bad. I just don't think that they're building them very well. I mean, they're a modern company and they charge modern prices, you know, like they're top of the line. They still use wiper for pickup. Like so many manufacturers are beyond that and stuff like that. It's really disappointing, and I don't know. I just haven't had great experiences with their products. Sometimes you get a good one, but most of the time I find that they're duds which won't last you more than a decade. But what can you do? Buy them cheap. That's what I would do. Now, anyway, we're going to run the VIA units. You should run an SD40-2. We can probably get one of those on in a moment. I think this one's the fastest, so we'll put it in the lead. And here we are. And just spotted that one, so we've got all three, and they can go right around as a set. Use a rapido via FP48. Yeah, sure, no problem. For Bachmann, it really depends on which locomotive you're talking about. The trains from Bachmann I run super well, and the ON30 Bachmanns I have are legendary engines in my opinion. Maybe the ON30 stuff is different, but in my experience, the quality amongst them has been, I don't know, consistently poor. I've got steam engines, diesels, all the rest of it, and I've found they've all had one problem or another over the years. I've got that Santa Fe engine I got in the starter set. That thing's been pretty good. And my Centennial has also been very reliable. That one I've been impressed with. The only problem it had is it was making a clicking sound, but that might have been because ballast got in the gears, which is not its fault. It could have also had a cracked gear. The hobby shop never told me. But that one's been pretty good, actually, so I'll give them credit for that one. That was a well-built, well-designed engine, but almost all the others have so many problems. The Kool-Aid paint scheme's amazing. I really like it. I bought the Tellus one first because I really wanted that one, but a lot of people are like, oh, you have to get the Kool-Aid one. And I thought about it more, and I was like, well, that would be cool to have one of the Kool-Aid ones. And then I was at the hobby shop one day, and I was just like, wow. Okay, I'm buying one of those. So I did. They weren't giving them away, but I don't regret it. They're well-built engines. I like them. I just got a N-scale starter set from Bachmann. The F7 came with runs great and super quiet. Initially, they usually run very, very well. It's over the long run, like again, a decade. That's where I find you usually run into problems. It doesn't mean anybody who owns a Bachmann engine is going to have a problem. I mean, again, I've got the Centennial, which has been pretty much trouble-free, and I bought it used. So, you know, you might get a good one, but all the steamers and stuff like that. And again, a lot of it might be my fault because they were involved with accidents, but so were the Mahanos, and they didn't break, so I don't know. I don't find they're terribly durable. Do you watch AJ Railfan? I've heard of that channel before. I'm sure I've seen some of their videos. Hey SMT, I have an AHM locomotive. The motor is broken. I want to restore it, but I don't know how to fix it. Do you have any ideas how to fix it? Or what motor to buy as a replacement? It really just depends on the style of motor. AHM used a lot of different styles over the years, so I couldn't tell you which one it is, but if you want to send me an email about that and maybe send me a picture of the engine, I might be able to help you find maybe an engine which you can buy like broken or something like that and get that whole thing sorted out. I prefer G-Scale. What do you think about Lionel? Lionel's a bit of a mixed bag. I'm not so sure about their modern HO stuff. I haven't tried it, so that's open. But their O-Scale stuff, their post-war stuff from the 50s, that stuff is so solid. It's crazy. I've got, you know, tons of old pieces. I bought them dirt cheap, and I gotta say they're pretty nice. So, old Lionel's good. I've heard mixed things about modern Lionel O-Scale, though. I don't really know what to think of them. Dirty Dan's Trains, welcome! I think the LRC cars are on the floor by the rectangular boxes. On the floor by the rectangular boxes. I don't see them down there. Have you ever watched Sam's Trains? I've been watching Sam's Trains for years. Pretty good channel. His editing style, I don't know. It's not entirely my taste, but he makes really good content, and I really like him. I think he's a good member of the community. Really great advice, I would say, too, on a lot of his stuff. Question: do rapido trains come with sound? Sort of. These engines are both sound equipped, which means they have speakers and all the rest of it, but they do not always come with sound decoders. So these two, I bought them. They were $250, I think, with taxes. They have speakers and everything like that on board, but the thing is that you need a sound decoder for that. So you can buy them with a sound decoder, but they cost you $100 more. So yeah, they're sound. These ones are sound ready, I think, would be the right amount. What is the current draw with 3 Locos? These ones are all pretty efficient. I would guess it would be about 1/4 of an amp, and that's running at 8 volts. If I turn it up to full speed, about 1/4 of an amp. The two rapido ones are super efficient. The Walters one isn't too bad. It's a bit older, though. Sound-equipped rapido locomotives currently come with the ESU Lock Sound V5. Well, could you run the worst FP40 bot? I don't know, the Bachmann one? How many controllers do you have rigged up to the layout? So I've got this controller. This is my workhorse. It's my, I think it's a MRC 9500 series controller. So that's the DC controller. I've also got this other one that's, it has sound functions and stuff like that, but I don't generally use that one too much. This whole thing is for electrical blocks, although not much is wired up on it. This controller is solely for the lights. And then this is the DCC controller, and then this is kind of like just a small DC controller I use for powering the streetcar. I don't know if it's hooked up right now. I guess it's not, but anyway. Can you run the Centennial with the big boy? Maybe. Hey, SMT, I was in band class today, and I was talking about our controlling sounds. She asked in class, what were you able to control? I raised my hand and said trains. Feeling proud at the moment. Do you hate Bachmann? I don't hate Bachmann. I'm disappointed with them, though, because about a decade ago, they were making... at the time, they had gone from making, these really cheap starter set trains to pretty decent engines. They were all-wheel drive. They had okay motors in them. I was a big fan of them as a kid, but their quality has not stood the test of time, and they've upped their prices as if they're top-of-the-line manufacturer. In my books, they're definitely not. And, yeah, I just find they're charging way too much. It's all about, price to quality. If you buy something cheap, you don't expect much from it because it's cheap. But if you're charging top-of-the-line prices, you expect a top-of-the-line item. I just don't feel that they serve that. And frankly, why wouldn't they? They have no competition on the market. Lifelike's gone, and Tyco and all the other companies like that are all out of the game. So it doesn't surprise me that they're doing that, but I don't feel that that's great for the hobby. I mean, other manufacturers could be competitive too, but I find they're making better products. Have you heard of J.I. Will 2000? Yeah, I've seen a lot of his reviews. He's been on YouTube for a long time now. I remember watching, I think, one of his videos back in like 2010 or something like that. It's been a while. That one knocked off the tracks easy. Oh, Bachmann's trying to make good locomotives. Anyway, I guess we'll run the big boy with the Centennial. Todd Stube? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, hey SMT, subscribed and hit the bell. By the way, I have a broken Bachmann Amtrak with a fried motor. What can I do? If you want to send me an email about that, you can go to my, I think it's the About section on my channel there, and I'll try to assist that. When you talked about modeling trains, what kind of modeling do you mean? Blender or physically? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. Sparky, welcome to the live stream. How are you? Nick the Trainer. Fun fact, the Rapido models, they have speakers already installed in the model, so if you ever think of upgrading to sound, it's pretty much just plug and play with Rapido's sound decoder. Yeah, it's a nice feature, but sound decoder costs $100. They're probably going to go cheaper eventually, though. So hopefully I'll be able to sound equip a lot of engines which already have speakers and whatnot installed. It would be nice. Canadian film stick, that. Question, my locomotive tender keeps derailing. What do you know a way that I can fix it? It's probably a weight issue. If you can open the tender up and add some weights, that might help it out. The Hiawatha's tender has had that problem. The other thing that could be wrong with it too, if it's a tender that has wires connected to it, make sure the wires are all positioned properly, because if they're in kind of weird places, like wrapped around like ladders and things like that, it's obviously going to set the tender off just because it puts it out of balance. So that's where I would look. Train Storm Production, Pair Marquette Productions. Has everyone had a good week so far? I'd say I have. How about you? Is Nerf Cat around? Before the stream started, he was down here just kind of walking around and meowing. And then I was about to start the stream, but the YouTube app needed an update, and that ended up taking 20 minutes. I don't know what was going on, but anyway, he left in that time. I think probably to go upstairs. What do you think of Athearn trains? I'm not so sure about their modern stuff because I don't own a whole lot of it, but old Athearn blue box engines from the 70s, 80s, well, really up until the 90s, that stuff's pretty rock solid for what you pay for it. I find you can buy a lot of old blue box engines really cheap, and I really like those. I've got a ton of old blue box because you maintain those things and they run a really long time. So yeah, old Athearn stuff, it's great. But I can't really say as much on their new stuff because I just don't know how they're making their engines these days. SMT, how does it feel that you started off just showing off the Hiawatha asking for help and now you're over 16Ks? How do you feel? I'm really blown away by what it's turned into. Obviously, back in 2016 when the channel was started, there wasn't really any intention to really turn it into a full-fledged YouTube channel. So to kind of go from that, have it slowly transition into a YouTube channel and then get to where it is today, I'm very surprised, I guess, more than anything, but I'm very happy. So that's all I can kind of think of. Have this on in the background while rotating my N-scale engines. That's a good way to watch a live stream. Get up to something else. Get new couplers. Yeah, I should probably buy a few of those. Anyway, we'll get this going with a freighter here. I don't know why the Centennial keeps derailing. That's kind of odd. Can't wait for you to be verified. I don't know if it's going to get that large, but you never know. Hey, SMT, how are you? Love your streams as well. Question, I bought a BNSF starter set, and now the coupling in Locomotive is bad. Is there a way to fix it? Well, it could be any number of problems. If it's a Bachmann set, though, and it's still under warranty, I guess an option is always sending it back to Bachmann. Do you prefer old Bachmann or Athearn blue box? Oh, Athearn blue box any day. Old Bachmann engines are not well built. Some of the worst ever, actually. Except Tycos were built even worse than Bachmanns of the same era. I mean, I like Tyco. They made some really interesting stuff, but the power torque drive systems, those things break down. It's like every live stream, I swear one of those things goes on the fritz or some new problem appears. The 80s Bachmanns, they have issues, but they're not that unreliable, so. SMT, you should mod a GG1 where it takes electricity from the overhead wires like you saw that one train show you went to. I probably wouldn't even have to mod them. Most GG1 HO scale models already have wiring up to the pantographs. I mean, they're made out of metal, so all you need to do is connect a wire to them. Building the overhead wire, on the other hand, that's a little bit more complicated, but yeah, I might have a go at that one day. When are you dropping the merch? I don't know. Maybe a lot of people have been requesting that. SMT, you can buy the Polar Express individually or as a set. The set has show on the car roofs, which may not look good on your layout. And if you get the cars individually, you can buy add-ons. Huh. Can you run the speeder? Yeah, it's over there for whatever reason. Old Lifelike or Bachmann? Oh, Lifelike. Lifelike, I find a lot of people, they say Lifelike was, you know, they were building like the worst models out there. And I'm not going to lie, I mean, they were not well-built sets, you know, especially the Kadar drives. I mean, those are not good. They're very similar to the Bachmann ones. If you open them up, you can pretty much interchange parts. That's how similar they are. But Lifelike built the Kadar drives definitely a lot better than Bachmann did. And even second generation Lifelike engines are still better than first generation Bachmann. This is a funny thing, is that first generation Bachmann engines were actually a lot better quality than second generation. They were all-wheel drive. They had proper chassis, but first generation Bachmann engines, they had 5-pole motors, which were known to burn out. They had zinc issues where the zinc would expand and actually destroy it, the whole locomotive. So those were not flawless engines either, but yeah, the ones that came after them were even worse, but Lifelike was still building them better. SMT question, do you like intermountain or scale trains? I haven't really worked a whole lot with either, so I couldn't say. Polar Express slaps as a movie, by which I mean it's good. Yeah, it's a really odd movie, but it's very enjoyable. I remember going to see that in the theater. I was 3 years old at the time, and it's a pretty scary movie, I think, at that age, but it was wild. Hashtag Team Lifelike. Yeah, Team Lifelike. Barry Warden, howdy. Welcome. Dirty Dan, SM Team, I'm gonna do another World's Worst Locomotive Challenge. Would you like to enter? I'm not so sure, because frankly, I've already kind of entered the one engine I have. I don't think I've topped that one. Bachmann Spectrums are okay, though. I don't have as much Spectrum, but yeah, they seem to be slightly better, although the Acela didn't start the very first day I got it. It was already stalled out. I don't know what somebody did to it, but yeah. Anyone remember the old film with the daylight cars crashing into the water tower? It's called Tough Guys. Well, that wasn't the daylight cars. They crashed the whole set there. Yeah, what is it they had done there? Yeah, they end up getting rid of the cars because he says we don't need no excess baggage, and then yeah, they end up running the train right through a end of the line town and into Mexico. Tough Guys is such a funny movie. If you haven't seen that movie, I think you can rent it on YouTube. It's pretty funny. Fishing with Ryan, thank you for the super chat. May I get a shout out and run a Canadian Pacific -9? I can run a Canadian Pacific -9, but are you 10 or less subscribers away from 50 or 100 or higher? Because I don't want to violate my shout out policy just because of a super chat. But if you are, I'm happy to give you a shout out. Hey SMT, how much money did the layouts cost and how long did it take you to set up? Also, do you have any trains from Southern California? I do have a train from Southern California. It's some, I guess, regional Amtrak train. I have no idea how much this whole thing costs to set up. It's been so many years and it's kind of hard to gauge value, especially when you're buying things used where it can fluctuate. It's hard to say how long it took to set up because it wasn't like a from point A to point B kind of thing, because I would start working and building part of it, but then, I'd redo it. So it's been through so many variations. I don't think it's ever been finished before. And it keeps kind of getting restarted. So yeah, I've been working on it since 2007, if that answers your question, but that doesn't mean it takes, more than 10 years to build a layout like this. You could build this under a year, probably. Do you have any mail cars? Maybe. I'm trying to think. I'm sure I have one. DB Tech, I like the concepts you have going on. You got the Nerf on top of that boxcar. Oh, yeah. Nerf Kitty is going on for the ride. Anyway, we're gonna run that Canadian Pacific unit, if I can find it. I think it's missing its coupler, though, unfortunately. I don't even know where it is right now. I'm pretty good at losing engines, is what I'm discovering. Has anyone seen Extreme Steam DVDs? I don't know about Extreme Steam. I've seen the show Extreme Trains. That was always enjoyable. Yeah, so this one hasn't got any couplers, so I'll just run it as a single unit there. I'm glad SMT knows what Tough Guys is. Oh, yeah, well, I mean, that scene at the end is so legendary. I don't think you can find it on YouTube. It's probably all been taken down due to copyright problems, but yeah, it's a great movie. I think they renamed the daylight in that movie, though, the Gold Coast Flyer. They did something like that. Okay, it's on the track. We need an SMT merch. At some point we'll get that. I think I'll start with hats. If we can get some SMT hats crafted up and some way to sell them, maybe I'll open an Etsy account. I don't know. Something like that. There we go. Sparky107, thank you for the super chat. It doesn't have a message. There's a picture of a gray cat, though. It's kind of like Nerf cat, I guess. Anyway, thank you for that. Serenity. We're definitely buying SMT hat. I might have one down here. I don't know. David's E2G scale sent some spares, so I can probably mail a couple out. Maybe I'll do a small giveaway or something like that. At the end of Fast and Furious, you can see the Union Pacific train in the background. Which one is that? I'd buy 10 SMT hats. It would be great if we could get some SMT hats. Like, if I could find a manufacturer, we get a whole bunch of those crafted up there, and then, you know, I can start shipping them out. And at train shows, we can identify all of the all the folks. Oh, Sparky, thank you so much. Very cool, but needs to be the Conrail, not the Canadian Pacific. Well, I mean, I'll do as best as I can. I can't say I've got the most amazing selection of Conrail out there. I've got this thing. Whatever happened to... David sent that other Conrail engine. Where did that even go at? It was an Alco engine. I'm just realizing I haven't seen that engine in quite a long time. I didn't manage to lose that, too. Oh, man. Anyway, Grand Trunk. Okay, yeah, we can get that going. So anyway, for Ryan with fishing, there's your Canadian Pacific -9. Nathan Delay, the SMT hat is an awesome idea. Well, try to make it happen. Anyway, Sparky, here's the Conrail engine. I'm going to try to look for that Alco, because now I'm kind of wondering where it is, but for the time, here is that. I paid $3 for that engine. Wow. Yeah, I'm not seeing that. Oh, here it is. There we are. I knew it was around here. Well, actually, I didn't. That's why I was looking for it, but we have it. And the good news is I think this is also another old AHM engine, which means they can run as a set. So, yeah, there we go. This is going to be the most Conrail I think this layout has ever seen. There we are. A GP9 high hood. Okay. Harrison, which do you think is better, scratch building stuff are made in the factory for the hobby. I mean, stuff that's made in a factory is usually more precise, but the entire point of the hobby is having fun. So if you enjoy putting things together yourself, even if they're not as good as the things rolling out of a factory, realism-wise, if the point of the hobby is having fun and you're doing so, then you're being successful in the hobby, in my books. So it's really a matter of preference, I guess. Conrail versus Conrail. Yeah, the $3 engine, as much as it sounds terrible, seems to be actually running a little bit. Yeah, the F7. I don't know what this is. I don't think it's an F7. It's an Alco something or another. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit quicker than this number. Although this thing sounds way better. I think it's just me, but every time I ask a question or say something, the chat gets really busy. I don't know. I think it's just busy. Seriously, how many Amtrak trains do you have? I lost count after the Acela. I made a video a few months ago running all of my Amtrak trains. I think I've got about 8 or so of them. When is the next giveaway? I don't know. I don't have any specific plans for one at the moment. David of DB Tech requested a grand trunk locomotive, so we'll get that going. Do you have any Denver Rio Grande locomotives or rolling stock? I've got a F unit, but it's band drive and the bands have broken. SMT, have you seen Unstoppable? I saw Unstoppable when it came out in the theater. That was an exciting movie. Of course, most people in the hobby or that know things about trains, if you go through that movie, you're gonna find stuff that's wrong, that just wouldn't happen. But give it a grain of Hollywood salt, and you know what? It's an enjoyable movie. Railfan Connor 611 is back. Oh, no way! I remember that guy. Is it true Canada loves bears? Well, I don't know. I mean, you can encounter them here, but the thing is that, you give them your space, so I'm not sure if love is the right word. SMT, do you have any GE Universal Series locomotives, U-boats? I think I do, but I'm not great with locomotive types, so I couldn't tell you. See if you can try to find either an F40PH or an SDP4OF. I've never heard of an SDP4OF, so I might have a bit of trouble with that one. 15K giveaway. I think we passed that point. SMT, I'm going to head out. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you so much, Ryan Fry. DB Tech. Hey, SMT, how do you maintain a model locomotive new in the hobby? If you buy brand new engines, usually just a little bit of oiling, cleaning the wheels is all you need to do. But on older engines, you really have to sometimes take them apart and just clean them out. Really what it comes down to is just keeping your engines clean and lubricated. That's really what they need. On older engines, it's clean, lubricated, and tuned, because screws and stuff like that can come loose. But yeah. You have to know how to take them apart to do that, and if you don't feel comfortable doing that, most hobby shops can do it. But yeah, and of course maintenance also changes on newer engines. You can go like a couple years honestly without changing the oil on them, but on older engines they are going to require more oil and maintenance. It really depends on so many things, though I couldn't give you an exact time frame. Teddy Train Guy, okay, big brain question time. If Cinderella's shoe fit perfectly, why did it fall off her foot? I don't know, man. One of the unknown mysteries of the universe, I guess. Do you have any Missouri Pacific engines? My friend has a great-grandpa that worked for the Missouri Pacific. They gave him a few 1930s era train tickets. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I'm not so sure if I have any Missouri Pacific stuff. Harrison, have you seen any scratch builders besides me who make trains? I don't know, Nathan. I'm sure I have. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but yeah, you know, there was a guy who emailed me and he was showing me, he kind of kit bashes engines and it makes all these different kinds. It's pretty interesting. Got a lot of repeat comments here. I like how in the movie Unstoppable they show the same passing loop about 5 or 6 times. Hey, gotta love movies and the different effects they use to try to make stuff look good. It's pretty funny. If you look really carefully, you can always spot things that are off. What the heck? Anyway, not sure what to run next here. Heading out, sir. Work comes early. Always like hanging out with you. Thank you so much for stopping by, Sparky. Run the Camelback Loco. I think that one's been requested a few times, so yeah, sure. Hey, SMT, what kind of SoCal Amtrak do you have? The Pacific Surfliner? Do you have any Metrolink trains? I'd love to see you run one of those. Have you gotten any PE Pacific Electric trolleys? I don't think I have any Pacific Electric trolleys, but for California, I'll see. I only have one engine, but I'm pretty sure it is from California. Anyway, we'll get this little number on there. Can you run dual steamers at some point? Well, if this thing didn't have a synthetic coupler, I'd run it with the other one, but I can set them both up because, frankly, they're probably quite similar speed-wise. So let's set this one up. Oh, yeah, this is going to look nice. Curious speed-wise. I mean, they should, in theory, be pretty much identical, but you never know. They might be a bit different. Anyway, let's just apply a little bit of speed. Yeah, that one's... Oh. Huh. I don't know. In any case, there is that. In terms of... Californian locomotives. We'll see if I can find it. Here it is. Amtrak California. Yeah. This is a blue box, which I actually bought new back in the 2000s. First train I bought with on my own money there. So proud of this thing as a kid. There we go. Hey, SMT, how many times have you broken the train couplers? Because I have. Too many times to count. I read that boxcars after 1956 didn't require walkways on the roof. Huh. That's interesting. So I guess... Oh, 1965, sorry. Team Dyslexia working here today, folks. So I guess these are all prior to 1965 era rolling stock. So that's interesting. Hey, SMT, have you ever bought a locomotive from a yard sale / flea market? I bought one, a Santa Fe F9. It failed the same day I got it. Seized front truck. I made it roll free because I can. Yeah, I've never from a yard sale before. I mean, I found engines on the side, well, not the side of the road, but friends who were going to put it out on the side of the road. I found engines that way, and I got some for free online, but I bought them from flea markets. I mean, it's a mixed bag. You never know what you're getting, but usually that's where they're the cheapest. So if you're willing to take the risk, you can usually get something pretty cheap. It's kind of a good thing about train shows, though. I'll usually ask the people selling the engine to test it, and then, you know, the truth's going to be right then and there. And the other thing you can do is you can bring a 9-volt battery, and you can test certain types of trains with that, but yeah, I'd suggest at least asking whoever is selling the stuff if you can do that, because I'm sure someone wouldn't appreciate, I don't know, just picking up random engines and putting batteries up to the wheels. But it can be a good way to do little tests. Have you ever been to Harrisburg? Can't say I have. And run the Super Chief. Well, I mean, I'll put this little number on. See, this is what you do. You just tilt it for a little while. And there we go. At least it runs. What's the fastest locomotive that you own? Because I have a lot of Santa Fe. I heard they can go about 8 miles an hour. 8 miles an hour. Well, I don't know how you'd measure that, but my OCD is getting worse. Those EMD units are scrambled in some spots. Oh, somebody wants me to run a Canadian National SD40-2. I forgot about this engine. I can't believe I did. It's one of my favorites. I don't know where it went, though. I've got this wonderful, I think it's an old AHM, maybe Lifelike. Oh, here it is. Yeah, what a wonderful engine. Yeah, I bought this thing a while back. Anyway, I'm quite a fan of this one. I just found it on eBay one day, and I just thought I have to have it. Fine little engine too, you know. I think I paid like, I don't know, $20 for it or something. But in any case, it was pretty cheap, and it's been a fine engine. Looks great. Oh, this is good. Hate to see what the current draw is right now. Still under an amp, which isn't bad. That old Athearn one, which I bought with my allowance, is not very efficient. Harrison, have you heard of Monty Python? I've seen some Monty Python. Don't know it that well, though. I'm going to remove this one from the mix. Just to help lower the current draw. First, we'll put this one back on the shelf. Please drive a steam engine with Frank Carr's F units, please. We've already got an F unit out here. Southern Pacific Blue Box. Oh. Look how much the current draw dropped after I took the blue box off. Yeah, as much as I like these old blue boxes, they're not efficient engines. What made you get into trains? My grandparents used to live beside a live steam engine tourist railway known as the HCW, and we'd drive out there and see them every weekend. So I grew up with a live steam engine, and I don't know, I feel like seeing that every day, it's got to have some sort of an effect, right? So yeah, ultimately, always liked trains my entire life, and then '06 or so. I finally got my first layout. I don't know what happened here. Somehow these couplers got hooked around each other. Oh, there we go. That was weird. Hey SMT, can you run that smaller CN locomotive that's next to the TGV? I'm a volunteer at a relatively small museum with 3 cabooses and 3 passenger coaches. Are there any museums near your residence? We've got the Museum of Science and Technology in Ottawa. That one has it's part of like the Bytown Railway Society. And they've got some various stuff. So there's that. And then out towards Smith Falls, they've got the Railway Museum of Eastern Ontario, which I have yet to visit. I think this is the engine you're referring to, because I don't see any other engines around the TGV other than this, so we'll run this. It is a Canadian National. I paid $12 for this thing. I'm not sure if it's going to run that well, but I thought I had fixed it. Yeah, look at that. Wow. This is a first generation Bachmann, by the way. Still about 1,000,000 times better than second generation. Okay, it's about to slam into the... Yeah. Nice. Nathan Delay, Harrison, I'm gonna go. Hope you have an awesome night. I hope you have an awesome day. Oh, thank you, Nathan. You too. I remember that story. Yeah, I've told it a couple times before. You're in your RDC. It's not running at the moment. It's band driving. The bands, they just wear out after a certain amount of time, so... Yeah. And Bruce, welcome. How much PRR stuff do you have? I don't know. There's a fair amount of it throughout the collection. SMT, you're a good lad. Did you hear about the derailment that happened on the virtual rail fan in Kansas City, Missouri? I was seeing everybody posting photos about it on the Discord this morning. So, yeah, I guess so. Have you ever played Trains Driver 2? I can't say I have. Discord link. I don't know. SMT, what brand do you prefer to buy? I buy Bachmann and Walters Trainline. Walters Trainline. They're probably not too far off, but I don't own a whole lot of Walters Trainline, but the truth is every Walters Trainline piece I've owned has been pretty good. Hasn't given me any issues. Heck, that VIA engine I got, which was one of my first engines, I mean, I dropped that thing so many times as a kid. It still runs exactly the way I remember it running as a kid. It hasn't changed a bit. In fact, I was running that one earlier in the stream. Great engine. Run a GP9. A GP9, eh? Try to look for one of those. I think this is one, yeah. SMT, have you ever drove a locomotive? I'm only 13 and I have. I haven't drove a locomotive. I did drive a... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't bring that up. Hey, SMT, love your videos and live streams. Really make my day, but I have to go now as I have school tomorrow. Thank you so much for stopping by, Train Rider Rail Fan. Do you have any Union Pacific steam locomotives? Well, it was running the big boy earlier. Charlie Mangy. I got a railroad joke for you. Alright. SMT, I was actually referring to the tinier CN locomotive that was parked nearest to the tunnel. It has an arched roof in the driver's cab. Near the tunnel. The tinier CN loco that was parked nearest to the tunnel. I'm sorry, I'm not quite understanding what you're referring to. The tinier CN engine that was parked closer to the tunnel. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is, because the TGV set's right here. That's not a CN engine. That's the HCW steam engine, but... yeah, I don't know. There's not really any other engines around here, so I'm sorry, I don't know what you're referring to. Pre-rec master builder. I subscribed months ago. Oh, thank you. Running my post-war Lionel trains while watching your stream. Wow, that's great. Run the wood-burning engine. Well, I can run the engine, but I don't think I ever got the tender sorted out, so it would just be the engine on its own. Can you run an SW1500? I can't remember what those are. Ant and Bruce. Me, I'm a fan of the old Athearn Locos and the Proto series. Proto, well, yeah, I mean, the great thing about Proto engines is they're kind of like modern Athearn blue boxes. I mean, you look at them and they're practically identical. I've always referred to those as blue box clones because they're so similar. Although the blue boxes are still built better than the Proto engines have more problems, but still, got to give credit where credit is due. At least they've got a good design. They last a pretty long time too. Not as long as blue boxes though. And that's because blue boxes run the show, at least on this layout. Gotta go SMT. I wish it could stay longer, but the hotel won't run itself. You're running a hotel? Wow. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. I hate Bachmann so much. I've never had one good experience with them. Yeah, I don't know. There's some people that they seem to say, oh, I've owned Bachmann engines before. They rarely give me any issues, or, oh, I've never had a problem with them. But there are other people, I put myself in this category where it's like, yeah, not a flawless track record. Railfan Connor 611. Well, welcome back. Can you run a trolley? Sure. I'm thinking of writing a fictitious company history for your railroad. And about all the divisions like the Trolley Corp and the D-Rail Railway and Dunderville, Ontario. Why couldn't the engineer drive the train? I'm trying to remember if the TGV derailed in the middle. Okay, for the person that's requesting that smaller CN engine, is this the one you're referring to? This is a smaller CN engine. Whoop. Yes, okay. I mean, I'm happy I found the right one. I wouldn't really consider this near the tunnel or the daylight cars, though. How much power does it draw? Probably not much. I mean, the trolley's taking up some of that here. Let me see here. If we take the trolley off, that will probably drop it like, I don't know, 1/5 of an amp or something like that. Yeah, it's not that bad. Way less than yeah, it's about, I guess, 1/8 of an amp this would be drawing. I don't know. It's not bad. How's the Hershey factory coming along? Not really any progress on that at the moment. I don't know. Been too busy with other stuff. Just kind of why I vanished off of YouTube and the rest of the internet for about 2 days. There's just stuff going on. The yellow switchers are blue. Oh, those ones. Okay, I'll run this. I think this is probably gonna be the final trains of the night there, though, just because the thing is, it's almost like 10:40. It's on its way, so I probably should finish off the stream as to not keep the residents of the upstairs awake. Oh, this is gonna be good. I was gonna request that custom train thing. Which one's that, Quatagama? Get ready to watch the amps go through the roof. Blue box efficiency. I guess you have thin floors. Yeah, well, there's not really any insulation between this and the upstairs, so yeah, not terribly thick. Can run the bullet nose. Oh, if I can get it on one-handed. Let's see here. Kind of have to do this last part all in one go, because the second you... Huh, that went well. Suppose this units look familiar. I wonder why. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like that one and that one. Both look familiar from the perspective of Van and Bruce. It's great seeing them all go as a set, though. Why did these all just speed up? That was weird. I put the power down and they all kind of went a bit faster. Very odd. How much money do you make in a week? I don't know. Variable valve timing. We're gonna request American stuff. There's some American stuff to make Auto Model Railfin angry. Here we go. Here's some. I don't think it gets more American than this. This one doesn't run very well, though. What everybody has to do... Where is it? What everybody has to do before I put this one on is open another tab in your browser. You type in Team America World Police, and there's a song, really specific title. You'll find it. It has a bit of a swear in it, so not for the faint of heart. Anyway, you put this on, and you hold the play button until I get it on the track, and when it starts running, hit play. And it's going to be the greatest American moment of all time. There we go. Uh-oh. American anthem. No, it's not the American anthem. It's probably about as prideful, though. Lowers the power to slow down the locomotives. They pick up speed. Nice. Yeah, they all speed up in this corner for some reason. Trivia question, what's the best diesel locomotive ever made? And I'll tell you why. I don't know, the Dash 9? Smoothly done and done. Anyway, I think I'm going to finish off the stream. I hope everybody had a good time here. I had a lot of fun chatting with you all and running trains live. Anyway, I want to thank you all so much for joining. Oh, wait, here, I'm going to read at least 3 more comments. I would really appreciate if someone posted the SMT Discord link. So if any moderators are in here and you have the link, please post it. It would be appreciated to some people. The SD40-2, because every unit after it copies it. True. Hey, SMT, run of your choice either. Okay, I can't take any more requests. Good night. Thanks for joining in, Hunter D and Firestar 2006 and Master G's and Nick the Trainer. It even posted a link. There you go. SMT, have a great night, sleep well, and dream of large trains. Yeah, Southern Pacific 4449. Going past a crossing in the year 2008. It would be nice. Anyway, have a great night.